Hey guys, Jim Cady with Cady Real Estate here. I wanted to welcome you guys back to the 11th Agent Spotlight. These things are going by pretty fast, and I want to congratulate Kendra Pearson. You're the winner of a Cady Real Estate Nike hat. We've got black or white for you, so we look forward to meeting you here at the Cady Real Estate office at 350 Duce. Well, I've got one of my favorite agents here. He's one of the best in the business here in Lafayette, Adam Andrews. Welcome, Adam Andrews.
What's happening? No problem. Happy to be here.
So, Adam, introduce yourself and tell us how in the hell did you get into real estate in the first place?
Yeah, I've been so I guess I've been in real estate in one way, shape, or form for about 10 years now. I would work for my dad, who does he's a broker, but he also does appraisal work. Is really his wheelhouse. And so I started doing appraisal work.
Alan Andrews.
Alan, that's right.
At Spectrum.
At Spectrum and Associated Appraisers. And started working for him, doing appraisal work, helping him out with that. Got my sales license in the meantime. And it was 2 or 3 years after that, I decided, what I want to do is I just want to sell at a high volume. And at that point, Spectrum and Associated Appraisers weren't necessarily the best. It wasn't best suited for me to really do what I wanted to do going forward. And you had been at that time begging me for years and years to come over here. So I gave Jim a call, and the rest is history.
So what's been happening in the last 12 months? 2015, we're coming off 2015 was the best years we've ever had. What happened in 2016, and what did you see?
Yeah, well, I mean, the floods certainly made things kind of goofy. I don't know that we're really seeing a whole bunch of market movement as a result, but you kind of had that just shut down for 3 weeks, and everybody regrouped. So it kind of squeezed the last half of 16, into a sharp period. But man, the one thing I noticed most and more than ever before is it's so highly competitive. And no matter what aspect you're doing, it seems like buying, selling, printing, investing, there's so many folks, and they all have so much information at the tips of their fingers that you really, really have to have a plan. You have to be on the front end. I mean, you're not going to just stumble in to a good deal, it has to really be planned out. I just find regardless, it's not a buyer's market or a seller's market. If you're making a deal, there's a lot of people who want to be making that same deal. It's sellers specifically. I mean, you really got to get your house in a place where you're better than everybody else if you want to sell.
Right, and we've been seeing that for the last 6 months for sure. It's changed. So what can we do? I mean, what can a buyer or seller do to get ahead of the game and actually put themselves in a better position?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's have a plan to a certain extent,
Right, yeah.
You want to have a real estate professional and expert that you work with, and that you work with, throughout the course of a lifetime, right? I mean, so many folks start their process and they think it's too early, or they don't want to bother or call somebody. Well, a real estate agent should not be somebody you're ever reluctant to call. Whenever you're conversing with your kids or your spouse about this or that and find yourself making assumptions, you should just reach out to whoever that professional is that guides you, even if you're forever away, And that way it's your team, even though, it may be a decade or more in between purchases, that team stays on the same page. They're always working for you. And when the time comes, you've put yourself in a position to make a good deal,
Right. So, I mean, basically coming up with a strategy very similar to a mortgage broker, working with your investment broker to prepare for retirement or whatever else. You're owning your house is an investment, and to have a strategy at all times is important.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, maybe in 3 years when the kids go to college, we'll move out. Maybe we'll do a renovation instead. I mean, it's just things that, your agent should know, your professional should know, be on the same page, help, that way. Maybe you talked to him 6 months ago, and then maybe there's a transaction that occurs inside your neighborhood that's relevant to this decision you may make way down the road, and say, wow, look, these folks did a renovation. This is what they did not get any bang for their buck. Going forward, I think it's likely we sell the house as it is, and you do move versus, and you just kind of stay in the loop instead of, everybody has an internal dialogue, and we see on the internet how much activity, how how much people are interested in real estate and their values, even when they're not shopping.
Right.
They can be informed about what they're looking at by, going to their professional regular basis.
And also, just like what you said, kept up to date on what's happening in their neighborhood.
That's right.
A lot of people don't even know what's selling, what's not selling, and that's really important to keep an eye on what's happening or a pulse on your market or in your area.
There's no doubt. And it's much better to get it in the form of an email from a professional like a consultant as opposed to what the neighbor's aunt's cousin said the house across the street sold for. You know what I mean?
So, what do you see is happening in the next 12 months? What are we going to see? We're almost mid-year 2017. What should we expect for the rest of the year?
I think probably a lot of the same, I think a lot of the same. Homes that are well maintained, that are in good areas and reasonably priced will continue to sell fast.
Right.
High-end properties will probably still continue to move slowly. And I don't know that anything is going to move the needle a whole bunch between now and the end of the year or even now and 365 days from now,
Right. Well, what are you most excited about in the next 12 months?
I'm most excited probably about them breaking ground on that Hartsville project. It's probably what I'm most excited about.
Right.
It's,
you also have an interest in that.
that's right. I live right nearby it. I live on it. Looking forward to using it more and more. And it directly, at the very least indirectly, but really directly impacts real estate in Lafayette.
Well, I mean, it's probably one of the best projects Lafayette is putting on, in the last couple of decades.
I agree. I mean, it's going to be awesome for the people of the community. It's going to be awesome for, that quality of life ranking that we get. It's going to attract more people to come here that are going to have employees, that want to use that sort of stuff. It'll be impactful.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been a huge benefit to have you here. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
This week we're going to be giving away what do we got, Adam?
Got a nice chest.
So we're giving away an ice
Keep
chest
going.
for likes and comments.
To enter, like or comment or both, and you'll be entered to win the ice chest.
Awesome. Stay tuned for our next Agent Spotlight. Thanks for tuning in.
We got to give away the hat. You give that away?
We gave it away. Kendra Pearson, come get the hat.